It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I've got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
Hey, welcome everybody to our daily gun show. We come to you live every day at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's 4 Pacific for about an hour and 90 minutes each day. We have 3 gun-related topics. We have different topics throughout the week. We run it live on YouTube and simulcast it over at gunchannels.com. We simulcast it on Gun Channels. Then we take the audio when it's all over and we post that as podcast on iTunes. So we encourage everybody who's listening to us now or in the future to leave us some feedback on whatever platform you listen to us or watch us on so that we know where you're at, and it helps get the show to be recommended to more listeners on those platforms. So we do appreciate that favor. There are 5 hosts, 3 of us are here right now. We got Dano jumping in from Illinois. Thanks for joining.
Yep, glad to be here.
And then we got Smeggy jumping in from Michigan, I think.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Are you at home?
Yeah, I'm home for the moment.
So then I'm down here in Arizona. We got Bob lurking the country. I think he's hiding in Tulsa right now, waiting for the museum to open tomorrow. Maybe we'll have Bob at the museum tomorrow. And then Z is working, so he'll be back in a little while from the island of Maui. So it's Monday. It's episode number 281, and we'll be talking about the show we'll be talking about the week's schedule. We'll be talking about the Gun Channels University segment of the show and then Gun Tech. But before we jump into everything, we usually take a break at the beginning of the show, or in this case, the beginning of the week, talk about anything that happened overnight, or in this case, over the weekend.
Yeah, I got one thing here that was new to me, and I'll go ahead and grab this link and try to put it over there. In Nebraska. And by the way, thanks to John Harvey for sending in this email. Nebraska would be the next state to implement a bill where you can carry your concealed weapon without a permit. So basically, permitless carry. So they're not calling it constitutional carry, and I don't know exactly what the difference would be there, but it's definitely a positive movement forward.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like the same thing. I mean, constitutional carry is just kind of what some people call it, but permitless carry is also very common.
Well, yeah, they usually don't call it constitutional carry. That's just the term given to whatever the state happens to call it when they remove restrictions on concealment.
Right. So that certainly is good news, and a lot of times we get overwhelmed with the bad news, so we need to sometimes take a minute or two and step back and just enjoy the warmth and the glory of freedom when we do get have those positive events that do occur. So enjoy the moment.
But we can't stop moving. So can't stop moving. So just use that to fuel your hatred and keep fighting.
Well, that leads in pretty good to something else that happened this weekend, being Every Second Matters. And we had that show on Sunday. I think it was a pretty good show. And I know we broke down a lot of stuff that was happening in the States. And there was, I want to say, like 3 or 4 other states that also introduced the constitutional carry thing. Now we'll see if it gets passed or not, but at least they're trying.
Absolutely, because no positive change can occur without the initial proposal. So,
well, it's not any news to anyone anymore, but we also just sent out every last week or so worth of tactical pop quiz patches, and that means we tallied up the results, but everybody already knows Sean's got 34, Angry's got 32, and Matt G's got 28. That was interesting, though. You hear those because we got a couple of all-stars that are answered quite a bit. But if you look at the last so many weeks here, or I guess so many days, it comes like this: a winner for the first time, a winner for the first time, a winner for the first, a winner for the fifth time, a winner for the second, winner for the 10th time, a winner for the fifth time, a winner for the 8th time, another first-time winner, one of those guys coming in with their 28th win, a winner for the 4th time, a winner for the first time, and then Angry's 32nd win. So sometimes you hear those numbers and we act like there's these guys winning all the time. They do win often, but we do a show every single day. So there's a whole bunch of people that are winning for the first time. There's plenty of people that are accruing multiple wins. We got lots of double-digit winners, and then a couple of guys that are just nailing it. So I don't want anybody to get discouraged. We're having a lot of fun with that. Also, just a quick reminder, just to start off the show with the guilt trip. You know, we're spending at least $5 a week on shipping right there. So we're basically cutting, and we're breaking even a little bit on the shipping and the podcasting, but we really don't have any extra funds, slush funds. I bought a couple of patches this weekend for the patch panel. There was a good cause, battle patches. They have an issue with their feline friend, and so they put everything in their store at half off. They didn't say, hey, we need money, you know, give us money or something. They just put stuff in their store at half price, and took advantage of that and grabbed a couple I think are cool. They say semi-auto and full auto zone, so it's like the AutoZone logo, except it says full or semi in front, and they're PVC patches. I thought those were pretty cool, so I grabbed a couple for the patch panel. And anyway, just try to throw that out there. We've got try to keep the thing once a week or so to send the patches out, so they don't pile up too much.
Were we able to resolve the one individual with address issues?
No, he never replied, so I don't know if he's watching yet.
Okay. Oh.
You out there?
Then that's the last we'll be mentioning of that.
No, hardly. He just doesn't show up at the beginning of the show, so I don't know if he noticed us telling him to update his address.
Oh. I mean, there's a point of diminishing returns. We've mentioned it in numerous shows several times.
No, mentioned it once, and I'm not sure if he was there since he didn't respond to it. So anyway, we'll keep on. So, anything else happen over the weekend?
That's all I have. Meg?
Well, I did see something about the Supreme Court nominee, and I think it was today or whatever, they put it to the floor to recommend a vote or whatever, and then I don't know, the Democrats are saying that they're going to filibuster, but there's others of them that are like, nah, we're not going to do that. So I don't know if they have enough to break the thing or whatever, but we may or may not get a Supreme Court vote at some time this week.
Well, I thought I heard on the radio they were already doing it today or something.
Well, they did like the first part or whatever. Like, I guess, I don't know. It's kind of like a bill where like a committee or something has to then recommend, like, okay, we're going to go to like a full vote on the floor. And so they did that part. They did vote to have a vote, I guess is the thing. But now it might get filibustered, and then they need to have more than 60 people to break that. Which I don't know. I don't know all the ins and outs, but from what I understand, filibuster now, you don't even have to like stand up there and talk for 2 days straight. Like, you just say, I'm filibustering, and then go sit down. Like, that's not fair. At least in the olden days, you sat there and read the newspaper or something. But anyways, that's just more political stuff, I guess. But it is important to our gun rights, in my opinion. He seems pretty level-headed on that, so it'd be nice to have him on the Supreme Court.
And as of last week, the way I heard it reported, which is very similar to what you said, Meggie, is they were saying by the end of the week, it would hopefully be finalized, which recognizes the various little steps that need to, between here and there.
So Dan will put up a note to remind everybody. We're going to put our address up on the in the show notes so that you can send us those gift cards for Subways, and that way we can get more sandwiches.
But on the serious side, I'm going to go ahead and take this opportunity to ask you, if you are listening and you currently do not subscribe to the Daily Gun Show over on YouTube, to please do so. what that does for us is it enables us to use additional features that we don't have access to right now to help the show get bigger, better, large, etc.
Super chat.
And super chat. Yep. All sorts of things. So if you don't subscribe, please take 30 seconds and hit the subscribe button. And if you like, and on the individual chats, once you subscribe, please give us a thumbs up if you happen to like that particular episode, because it helps us get higher in the rankings and more likely to get shown as a recommended viewing for people that don't subscribe to the show or may not have ever even heard of it, but may be a gun gal or a gun guy.
I really feel bad for our viewers who are watching on the YouTube side because they don't have that super chat option. And I know how itchy their credit card fingers are. They want to push that button and they don't have it. So if you don't think of yourself, think of them.
Yes, it would be helping everyone who just is dying to see their name show up in blue or red or purple or whatever.
Red colors really is what people look forward to.
Well, blue is the best color.
But as a test right now, we have 4 thumbs up. I would like to request as a test that those who are currently watching on YouTube or gun channels give us a thumbs up so we can see how many people are actively listening and participating in the show.
All right, and now just because it's going to bug Dan to no end, I'm going to tell Buzz that you need to resubmit your address over at the thing at our Daily Gun Show website, because you put in everything but the street address. So we could send it to your name at this town, but I'm assuming there's more than one person in that town. So just use the form again and fill out the address completely. And we'll mention that again a couple of times.
Yep.
I think that probably covers it now.
It bugs me. It bugs me. It bugs me.
Well, let's rock on the show here, eh?
He's there.
Absolutely. Let's rock on.
Oh, we want to do the show today? All right. So this week,
what the hell?
we're going to be doing Mondays. We do the Gun Channels University today. Got an idea from the chat earlier. 3 simple things you can do with your smartphone to help. Then we'll do gun tech. We're going to be talking about bullet technology, which was interesting because you were talking about that in the early watch earlier when Dana was letting out all her secrets. Then on the Tuesday, we do our Second Amendment issues, and we'll be talking about guns at home. That should be vague. Lots of stuff to talk about there. We have a good idea, bad idea. And this week it is lights fixed to guns. This week we'll be talking about South Carolina. So I believe we have a famous South Carolinian, maybe Night Strike, showing up. And then on Wednesday, we'll be talking about our CCW topic. And I guess it'll be states in CCW. So lots of ways to talk about that one. Let's see, entertainment topic this week is top 10 gun wish list. What? I don't know how that works, but we'll figure it out. Then we have our tactical quiz on Wednesdays. Of course, at any moment, at any time, there could be a tactical pop quiz. And lately, there's been answer ambushes happening here and there as well. Just talked about the patch panel. I have to take a picture of it. There's a new patch panel because everybody took all the good stuff off the other one. So I'll take a picture of it while one of these guys is talking and try to get it up on the page so that we've got it for today. So when you win the tactical pop quiz, or if you win the tactical quiz of the week, we'll send you over to our website. We have a patch panel with a bunch of patches that we've sewn ourselves, or that are made with our designs, or that we went out and bought. Like I mentioned a minute ago, we try patches sometimes. Other times people just send them to us. So we have a whole bunch of them there. You pick which one you want, and we send it to you if you give us the incomplete address. Let's see. Then on Thursday, we'll be talking about our general gun topic, and this week it's aiming devices. So if you have ideas for that one, of course, you can always email us at dailygunshow@gmail.com, and help fine-tune some of these topics. The training topic on Thursday will be Masad Ayub. We could probably talk for hours about the man. And then on Thursdays, we talk about the various events that are going on. You know what? On Tuesday, we might actually end up with a special segment because Bob's going to be at that J.M. Davis Firearms Museum. So stay tuned. I should have mentioned that. Stay tuned on Tuesday for a potential schedule.
Yes. Yeah, we have 2 potentially special things. We have our special guest star to talk about South Carolina, as well as potentially Bob phoning in a remote from the J.M. Davis Museum. So maybe up for a change in the schedule, depending on what's happening there.
That brings us to Friday, and our alternate gun topic this week will be traveling with guns. Side topic, alternative modes. Oh, we're doing that one again. The traveling with a gun with like bicycle or motorcycle and alternative routes, segways, Dano. Let's see, on Friday we also do the gun business, and this week we'll be talking to AIM Surplus. Okay, so I guess somebody, when they suggested that, expected that we were going to call them and make some kind of arrangements to talk to them on the phone and have them as a guest. I guess that's still possible, but we'll see what happens. And then we wrap up the week. We do the opposite of what we're doing right now. So it should be a pretty interesting week and potentially full of guests, special events.
You made an elusive comment there about Segway and me.
Uh-huh.
And I'm wondering if maybe as a sticker, how many people had the claim to fame to say that they actually fell off a Segway?
Yeah, they're pretty much designed to not let that happen, right?
Yeah. Of course, I was rammed into by someone else behind me, but that's another story. But I still fell off.
Yeah, there's a difference between falling off of one and then like being thrust off of it. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like saying, I went flying out of my car once. Ha ha, how silly. But it's because you got in a front end accident or like you got in a head on collision with someone who went flying out your car. Like it's a little more understandable.
Sure, I've jumped out my passenger window before.
Yes, I was sitting there at a stoplight in downtown Chicago at Grant Park, right by the Big B, for anybody who's familiar with that general area, waiting for the stoplight to change, totally motionless. And then next thing I know, the side of my head hurt like hell. Yes, I was wearing a helmet, so I looked like one of those rolling dorks. But thank God I did, because my head hit the concrete, and my only concern at that point was, dear God, don't call it EMS because I'm carrying legally, but I'm carrying, and I don't need to be in the center of that cesspool and have to go with what's the policy on this.
That's actually a really good concealed carry topic.
For Thursday.
Now, I was not in the park where carry is banned. I was on the public sidewalk where carry is not banned.
So I'd like to go back to one of our favorite topics and address Buzz Bomb specifically. And don't worry about which one you won. We got that in the thing. Just go in there and fill out your complete address, and then we'll figure it out.
Yep, we'll remember you. But that made Dano drop out completely. I guess he's angry.
He does not like that subject, but we'll learn eventually not to keep All right, well, with that, I think we should, let's go on in with the show. So we're going to be heading into the Gun Channels University. Got a couple of things actually we're going to talk about there. That's technically our second segment of the show, so we always like to break between the first and second segment to feature one of the members over at Gun Channels. Gun Channels is a place we built a while back. It's a community. It's focused on firearms. It's completely membership driven. There's no sponsors running the place. No urge to do anything there. Some members do participate, keeping the place online. Appreciate that. But it's a pretty chill environment. It's not completely hands off. There's plenty of admins. Dead Horse, we talked about, is going to be here Tuesday. He's one of the admins. Pink is out there in the chat right now. He helps keep the place running. So we're hands-on. The people that built it hang out there. However, it's not like Facebook or something where, anyway, it's a pretty cool place. And to keep reminding people of that and to thank the people that are contributing to the place, we feature a member each day. This week I've got a theme, and we'll see if anybody can figure out what the theme is. It's going to be pretty tough off of one day.
I like guessing themes. I like when we do that.
Well, I don't know if you can tell because I didn't really put the answer in there unless you look really hard. But today's featured member is Dead Horse, who hasn't been around in a while, but he was a big feature of the site for a long time. And he's the first person we're featuring this week. So he has been around in a while, but when he was here, he did a heck of a lot of stuff. He participated in chats, and is always a good contributor to whatever conversation was going on. Good example of why we built the place. And our new feature is that when we are going to talk about somebody like that and they're doing something online, if I could get my freaking computer to not.
His Instagram account?
Yeah, he doesn't. I don't know if he's doing anything on the YouTube real much, so I'm going to grab his Instagram if I can find it, and we'll link it out there. And we want to, when we feature people, he's using the two names, right? Dad one.
Yeah, Dead Horse Dad.
Yeah, he has two because he got shut down one time and he just started another account for a minute. So whenever you're featured as a member of the day, we're going to try to help spread the word there. So if you are inclined, I sent you over to Instagram. If you have an Instagram account, feel free to follow him. He's got 2,800 followers because he's doing good stuff over there. But feel free to sub to his channel. You'll get a lot of good stuff. And like I say, he likes to participate in these online forums. So anyway, that's the first one. If anybody can figure out what our theme is for the week, it'd be very good. But maybe you'll get a better glimpse of what we're trying to go for here as the week goes on.
Yeah, I just want to say something about Dead Horse that I very much enjoyed talking to him. As if anyone who does know him and the people who don't, he's builds ARs like all the time. I mean, that's kind of what he's known for. He was always doing them in the chats. He actually did specific AR build chats. But I very much enjoyed talking about that kind of stuff because he tries everything. You know, every time someone's like, "Oh, have you ever had this bolt carrier group?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I tried that one. It's pretty good." Blah blah blah. Or, "Oh, have you ever used this stock?" "Yeah, I don't really like it that much. I like this other one better, and actually it's cheaper." "Okay, cool. Thanks for the help." I mean, it's tons of information and very friendly and open to share his opinion on it. And sometimes that's what you need when you're stuck between buying two things. You're not quite sure which one's which. You know, he never got paid by anybody. He just offered his honest opinion.
Yeah,
and
in addition to his well-called. Go ahead.
I was just going to add experienced opinion.
In addition to when he helps in more macro ways, like when he did some of his online builds, like build an AR in a chat, and then kind of answered questions as he was going along about how he was doing it and things like that. He also does micro level stuff, and I'll use myself as an example. When I first assembled my very first AR, he helped me with not only trying to make decisions on parts and where's my money best spent, best bang for the buck, so to speak, but also in regards to where to put the money in regards to tools if you're only going to build one versus if you're going to possibly build many.
I don't want anybody to worry. Even though Dead Horse ain't around anymore, we will help you spend your money on gun channels. There's no fear of that.
Yes.
We will help you spend your money.
That has never stopped.
Since he's not around anymore, let him know that we miss him over here, and there's a.
I don't know if I don't think he's. I hate to say he's officially not here, unless he's actually said that.
I'm pretty sure he's still alive. That's what I figure.
Yeah, exactly.
Or he's been replaced by a robot, and the robot wasn't programmed to use gun channels. Maybe we don't.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, with that, I think we can move on to the Gun Channels University, how to use social media segment of the show. Every week, we dedicate a portion of the show to talking about behind the scenes, either the tech or the software or the concept of some of the platforms and things, so that we can better use our skills, so that we can use them now when it's just playing, and when we can build things like subscriber bases, and we can build networks of communication. We can hone our skills in both editing and the production and the creation of content. We also, we're building this show hopefully for people that we're hopefully offering encouragement and inspiration to people to get out there and do your own firearms related content. The goal isn't necessarily always to be the biggest or the best. It's just to contribute to the overall work of knowledge that's out there. Anyhow, so with that in mind, there was a pretty interesting comment that came up. I think it was during the early watch when Dano was spilling all our secrets, and somebody asked, "What are 3 simple things I can do with my smartphone to help out, to help the Second Amendment, basically?" So, what do you guys think? And people in the audience, again, the whole point of this kind of format is that we're watching 2 different live chats here. We'll go to the trouble of launching it on Gun Channels and watch the YouTube comments. Got a lot of people watching. We appreciate all the live viewers, but participate in the show. What are some ways that you use your smartphones as effectively to Second Amendment efforts?
Well, I'll say just one quick thing. I noticed that was a comment on the Every Second Matters video.
Oh.
That I noticed that today.
I accidentally He attributed it to the early watch show where Dano was spilling all our secrets.
Well, it's possible that Dano brought that up from there or whatever. I don't know. I won't speak for him. I don't know where he got it from, but
like
I'm just saying it was good.
He thought it was one of our secrets, so he went and spilled it on the early one.
No. Well, for the 6 of you that were there versus the 30 some that are here and wondering, well, what the heck happened? I'll go ahead and go back to the Wayback Machine. Okay, we're there. Sean and I were talking, and we were talking about tactical pop quiz and questions and things like that. And he had asked me as far as where things were relationally in regards to the difference between him and some of the other people that were doing well. And I said, I don't really know. Last time that we had talked about it, G. Webbs had stated that you were ahead, but I wasn't sure about how many. And then somebody goes ahead and types in exactly what that information is. So since we're in and we're actually discussing that exact information,
prepping for this show, the show that we make all our money on.
Yeah, you keep going with that theme.
Okay, I didn't mean to start a lovers quarrel here. Jesus Christ! I just thought I would mention that somebody watched Every Second Matters this weekend and made a comment, which I think is a very interesting comment and an important comment. So it doesn't matter who he said, she said, I think.
And last time I checked, we don't have any nuclear codes here, so I think we're good to go on that.
Oh, and then you haven't found my hidden tab.
No, I have not found the hidden tab, and the answer is 23.5.
So hopefully we gave people enough time to come up with some ideas, some strategies.
Well, I'll say the suggestion I gave to that comment is just make a video with your phone when you go to the range and just post it up on whatever you're doing, like whether you do a YouTube thing or just put a clip on Facebook or something or whatever. But I know, G-Webs, you say this all the time, so I'm giving you credit because you gave me the idea of saying this, is that when other people that you know, your family, your friends, your neighbors, whoever, people you work with, they see you're a normal person who also happens to be into guns. When the media talks about like gun nuts and whatever, crazy rednecks or paranoid people, they know that the media is lying because they say, well, what about this guy over here who's totally normal and he also is into guns? So I think that's a good defense against that mentality of like, we're all evil, scary gun owners. You can't get that across if the people know gun owners who aren't like that. They aren't that caricature of, the crazy tinfoil hat guy or whatever.
Sure. So imagine if we didn't do that, if people weren't just out posting their boring pictures of themselves or their kids or their friends at work shooting a gun for the first time or whatever it is, just boring range pictures. And then somebody typed in AR-15. All they got is a bunch of pictures from war or maybe some police carrying them, pictures from catalogs. That's not the full picture. That's not the whole story. So we create the rest of that story. And when they go to search for AR-15 because they heard about it in an article or they hear that it's the focus of litigation against a manufacturer, and they go, what is this AR-15 anyway? And they go online and they see that it's a bunch of people, taking it to the range and talking about parts and using it for 3-gun competitions, using it for long-range rifle, using it for hunting, and there's pictures of it with a deer or with a boar and pictures of it all taken apart. And listening to stuff like this where we just nerd out on it, or chats like Matt's where people get all upset about what parts and stuff like, then they're not just seeing the militia. They're not just seeing the military, the war footage. And, that's valuable stuff that's out there that's doing a lot more work than just creating. What?
I'm sorry. I was just found something humorous in the YouTube comments.
Move on. Nothing here to see. Move along.
I just realizing Daniel does not pay attention to our show at all. So that's fine. Yeah, so that was my suggestion, is just share. That's something you can do with your phone, is shoot a simple short video or whatever and post it up on YouTube or Facebook or, I don't know, Google Plus or whatever. What are some of your guys' ideas? Because I have others, but I'll let you guys go.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna say Instagram. It's great for the phone. You wiggle your finger on it. If you try it out and you hate it, then don't worry about it. If you try it out and you think it's interesting, you'll like the concept that you don't have to log in like you do with YouTube and then sit there watching a video. How long are videos going to be? For one of mine, they're a couple moments long. Somebody else's might be a couple of minutes. Somebody else's might be a few minutes, right? And if it's something you're actually interested in, you got to kind of sit there and be doing it. Instagram is the opposite of that. It's just quick. It's like looking at snapshots. So lots of interesting stuff out there. Lots of information gets put across. It's amazing how quickly people have adapted to that format, and it's become its own place. And I think the amount of people that'll recommend it should give you some insight to how effective it is and how entertaining it can be, how informative it can be. So check it out, and if you'd like it, then that could be one of the most effective ways. There's quite a few things to do there, and you could find the niche or two that you like, use it the way you want, but basically your efforts at interfacing with it, using it, enjoying it, are going to help those channels that are creating stuff over there. Now, I guess that's my first one. I'll have to think of others, but I think your camera would be the second one, and that's take as many pictures as you possibly can. You get better at everything by doing it. There's absolutely no consequence, almost none, unless you accidentally take a nudie of something, of your wife or something, and accidentally put it on the web. So just don't do stuff like that. And once you get familiar with the thing, you'll have no concern over inadvertently doing something, because you'll know that there's a bunch of steps that are necessary to do pretty much any task with it. So just start taking pictures. Once you've accumulated some pictures, get used to storing them and sorting them and keeping track of them, because that's a whole nother skill. Once you've taken a bunch of pictures and you've gotten used to keeping them on your phone, and then or keeping the appropriate ones on your phone and putting all of them into backup either on your computer or in the cloud, then take a look at some of the editing stuff that's out there so you can enhance your picture, crop out some of the extra background stuff so that it's not, so that your focus can be on whatever the actual focus of your picture is. And then enhancing some of the the contrast and the lighting and stuff like that, which you can really do a lot with your phone. And I recommend this because those are not difficult things to master. You literally just wiggle your finger. So once you get used to whatever app it is that you like that can take the picture, edit it, and the next step is posting it. So even if you don't go that far, just sharing the pictures with your friends and family is enough to get what Smeggy's talking about across. But if you are going to go on from there, you've just mastered basically all the creation skills, and then it's just a matter of learning how to post and having some fun with the different strategies of posting and when and where and that kind of thing. But I'll think about the third one so somebody else can go give us their three.
One thing I'll throw out there, I got stuck with one of the few modern day phones that actually doesn't have a removable memory card. So if you're unfortunately have a similar phone as I do, what I do as a workaround is you can do one of two things: either transfer the file via a data cable to your computer, or if for some reason that's more hassle than it's worth, simply email the file to yourself, like via Google, gmail.com or Yahoo, whatever, on your computer, and then download it from your email into your editing software. I have a Samsung, which for some reason they decided not to put a removable memory card in. And they've now gone back to memory cards. Thank goodness.
And I have I think a great one for number 3. And I was going to pretend like it was my own idea, but I guess I'll give credit to Angry. He says, use your phone to call your representatives. I think that's great. Activism's awesome. It's easy to send an email. I think most people do, but actually giving a phone call, I mean, you got a couple of minutes to spare, talking to a real person. It lets them know that you actually, I think that shows them that you care more than all the emails they get in. So if they get 100 emails on a topic and 10 phone calls, they'll be like, okay, yeah, those people who called in are really passionate about this. even though the 100 emails are still awesome. I'm not saying don't do that. And you can send emails from a smartphone very easily as well. But I think that's a great one, is go talk to your representative or governor or secretary of state or whoever, whatever is going on, your game commission, Moon, whatever you need to do to advance gun rights. That's a great use for a phone, and not many people use a phone to make phone calls anymore. So I found that a very novel idea, but a good one nonetheless.
It's retro.
I actually have some direct or indirect experience in that. I've both physically gone down to my state capitol and spoken with my representatives, as well as to the people that actually received those phone calls. And I've asked them that exact question, and they said, yeah, that they most likely when you call, unless you have an appointment, that person's going to be busy doing something else. You're going to end up talking to their secretary or whatever it is, personal assistant. And they track all that information. And now it was just this woman's opinion, but she certainly felt that the opinions of those that call certainly outweigh those that email. Basis. If you have 10 emails and 10 phone calls, those 10 phone calls will outsway the opinions of those who emailed. Definitely a real thing, at least as far as I got from people that actually work down at my state capitol that I spoke to, face to face, not just on the telephone.
So, and how much do you think a face-to-face meeting's worth? If 10 phone calls equals 100 emails equals one face-to-face or whatever, I mean, like that could be outweigh them all. The fact you took time to drive down there and set up an appointment or whatever, like that takes a lot of effort, and that means something. It really does.
So,
go ahead.
I'm talking cell phones, though. Now you guys are talking about how to contact your representative. So,
use your cell phone to call your representative.
It's how to use the tool.
All right, I remember how we got there. So then Dog Body is saying 3 things. Listen to us on the thing every day. So that's true. You can listen to podcasts and live streams. Phones are great at that now with the Wi-Fi and that whatnot. Take pics of positive gun content, like taking pictures of the kids shooting. Kind of talked about that one, so that's good. And then this one is one we haven't talked about yet. Use your phone to pull up real statistics when people say things and they're incorrect, whatever. So know your resources, have bookmarked in your browser, and yeah, that's a great way. That way you could also, once it's up on your phone, it's real easy to click that little share button. You can send it to them via email. So if you are having a conversation and you've made some headway, if you've made them question their numbers or their position, or at least you've given them some information that they haven't heard before, phones definitely make it easy to usually click on something, send it to their email. So while it's fresh in everybody's mind, put a subject on there, at least it's there for them. So if they're as interested that they go pick it up, I guess that all depends, but you can, instead of just leaving the conversation as, well, go look it up. Now you can say, go look it up. Here's the link. Heck, depending on what it is, the time you have, they could probably just open it up on their phone right there and have it continue on with the conversation using those numbers. So putting the gun channels on there, that's probably a good one. We have lots of conversations all the time. I've been using the phone more to just have the lobby going, wherever I'm working somewhere away from the computer, just to have the lobby going, especially if the phone's got Wi-Fi. Pink is saying download gun-friendly apps. There are some CCW apps, there's some reciprocity apps, that kind of thing. I've seen some apps that let you know, sort of like a review or a index, where they'll let you know what people can come together, create an index of what restaurants or businesses are pro-gun or anti-gun in your area, or maybe when you're traveling, so that when you're going to a restaurant, you can find out ahead of time if they're pro-gun or anti-gun. I guess if you're making a decision on when to spend money and you want to eat locally, that might be a way to help give you some direction when you're going to decide. Figure, okay, I'm going to give my money to a pro-gun place, use one of those apps, and then maybe compare that with one of the restaurant apps, make sure it's a good place to eat.
Yeah, I've seen some of those apps, and I forget which one I downloaded that was supposed to be like the, you know, gun friendly / gun free zones, and like everything came up purple. Like it's like no one seemed to use it. So I don't know. I took some effort in adding the stuff that I knew of, but I don't know. I haven't found one that seems to be a pretty complete list. But I guess that's just that's what you get when you rely on user input. Maybe it'll take off, and all of a sudden it will be a great resource. So if you know of anyone specific, I'd be interested in that. Either you or out in the chat. But,
so do we have our top 3? And if so, in summary, what would they be?
We're not going to pull a mat and try to rank them. I think we just gave people a bunch of them. Using the 3 was a way for people to give a couple of ideas, I think. Tony also mentioned that he had a guy who moved down from out of state to his area and contacted him about building a house. He's a home builder because he saw the YouTube videos. So there you go. He's out there sharing his interests and his love of things like firearms and freedom. And when somebody needed to make a deal with something he's an expert in, then being part of his channel, they knew what he did, and he got some business. That's pretty cool. And like I say, I really care about where I spend my money. So if I was going to do something as major as something like that, I'd be much happier knowing that the person I'm working with is a good person and pro, my position. Yep. All right. So also I'm saying these in the trees.
Well, that's no way to welcome Island Z. It's not that dangerous for him to be here.
Imagine being that guy coming into this.
It is that time.
I hear it every month at the same time.
For the
we have our
events. Pop quiz of the day.
You seen Hawaii ripped off our pop quiz?
Excuse me, am I interrupting anybody?
I think we're interrupting you, Dano.
Okay.
Just to be clear.
Alrighty. So as we got our priorities straight, that's all that matters. All right, Mr. Official, have you seen the question, and more importantly, have you seen the answer? Smeg?
I have seen the answer provided.
Good enough. Those of you over on YouTube and those of you over at Gun Channels, make sure your cursor is down in the answer box. Make sure your fingers are limbered up. I will read the question twice. So make sure that you have it clear. And the question is as follows. Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum cartridge was co-developed by Smith & Wesson and who? The Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum cartridge was co-developed by Smith & Wesson and who else?
Is Yo Mama an acceptable answer?
Didn't we already do this one?
Nope. We had a similar one, but not this one.
Oh, okay. 42 windbreakers?
It's not Hornady. That was the last one.
Don't you know what they say? If you put 42 windbreakers in a room, that eventually, and with infinite time, eventually they'll make every caliber.
Come on, winner. Angry.
So the winner is the
Angry,
person
you had it by about a second and a half over Night Strike. So congratulations, Angry. You are today's Tactical Pop Quiz winner. You already know what to do. For those out there, head on over to dailygunchannels.com/popquiz. Fill out the form, and when G-Webs has a chance, he will upload a more current version of the patches to pick. So congratulations, Angry, and a close second to Night Strike.
What was the answer?
Answer is Korban. Now, there was a similar question a few sessions ago where the answer was Hornady, but different question. It was a co-development question, though, but different over a different product. So, congratulations, Angry. Moving on up.
So, Z, do you want to?
It's all you, man.
Part since you're here.
Why don't you guys do
all
it
you
in harmony, like a cappella group?
Well, whatever, I don't know. Z, you can join along if you want. That'd be kind of neat. But if not, Angry, that makes you today's tactical hot shot of the day.
Excellent job. Excellent
Good
job.
work, Meg.
Do you put on a bushy mustache like what Z has when you do that, Smeggy?
No, I'm not Magnum PI.
I know Smeggy really enjoys doing that, so.
I know, and I appreciate Z
And I figure
letting me do
whoever
it.
the official is should get the honor of enjoying what they do.
Nah, it's Z's thing. He always has first dibs if he's here.
Well,
But if he's not here,
for sure. But you enjoy it. You have your own version, your own take on the original. All right. So that's social media and 3 simple things you can do.
Yep, and that'll take us to gun tech, which will be our third topic. Oh, except we're going to take a break for a commercial because we keep forgetting to always do that. So I got some stuff over on the eBay. I'll throw the links in there. And if you want to grab the first run of some patches, I've got them over on the eBay and bring in some money. So we'll be talking about gun tech and specifically bullet technology.
Now, before we get into this topic, because I'm only going to be here a little bit longer, I do want to throw a challenge out to our listening audience right now. I know we talked about it at the very beginning of the chat, but we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. And right now we're sitting at 294. I'd like to ask those of you that are listening right now that may not subscribe to the show to just take 10, 15 seconds, click on subscribe. Let's see if we can break 300 today. So thank you for your efforts if you're able to do so, if you haven't done so already. And thank you to the current subscribers that have gotten us to this level. And now I hand it back over. To gun tech and bullet tech.
So what do we mean by bullet tech?
I think Intel or something?
I don't think so.
Oh, we're doing business.
Yeah, I'm just dropping links right now. But
okay.
We were talking about this the other day. So what about if the barrel was a bunch of magnets, not a rail gun, but then you just shot, but enough magnets to hover a steel rod in the middle, and then use a projectile, use a regular normal cartridge to shoot a piece of steel as a projectile down that barrel. That barrel would never wear out because of electromagnetism. It would never actually touch. There'd be no friction. Probably use less powder, use a real inexpensive piece of steel as a projectile. It'd still be heavy enough, I think, to have a decent profile and ballistics. That's my idea. Ceramic barrel with a bunch of magnets.
The amount of power required to maintain the magnets might be somewhat difficult.
Neodymium magnets.
Yeah, they don't have to be electromagnets.
Yeah.
How do you turn them on and off then?
There's nothing to turn on and off. They're just always in this magnetic field in a rifled pattern, and they just create magnetic fields that bounce off each other and would hover a piece of metal in the middle of them. If you have a squib load, you just hold it upside down or hold it vertical to the ground. I don't think you can put a load in it. I'm pretty sure that's the evolution of bullets right there, or guns right there. I'm trademarking that, copywriting it right now.
Well, other than electromagnetic magnets, what other types of magnets technologies are out there?
Neodymium magnets. Nobody's seen these really powerful rare earth magnets?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm with you on that.
The ones you're not allowed to feed to kids. They're so dangerous. Think
the
of the
ones you definitely do not want your fingers in between when they snap together because it hurts like a banshee.
Think
I
of
know
this
from personal experience.
You bolt onto a desk and it can hold a 35-pound gun or 35-pound weight. Those kind of magnets, except positioned in a ceramic barrel so that they could have their magnetic field around them. Anyway, that's my idea for bullet tech: is steel projectiles in a new kind of barrel. I'm just trying to get away from the stuff that costs more, like the copper and the lead. back into the stuff that's cheap steel.
You know,
Well, what
rare
about the polymer bullets? I think we've talked about those in the past, but I think those have some pretty good promise.
Only if you're trying to take out Magneto.
Well, seriously, you can make those. They're just sand. So now you just have to worry about the going out the barrel and maybe put some kind of, like what they do, the coatings like they do on lead bullets now, so that they don't lead up the barrel. That, what do they call that? That baked on stuff.
Like the powder coat.
Powder coat.
They didn't
Maybe
use Pam?
ceramic. What? I don't know about the weight though. Would ceramic be heavy enough?
Well, and how are you rotating the bullet? How does it grab traction to be able to do that? You
Well,
have to rotate the magnets then.
Well, no, the magnets was my idea. So Maggie's talking about ceramics. Different thing, right?
Like the one from Die Hard 2?
No, I'm talking just projectiles.
Ceramic projectile, he's saying, instead of lead. And then I'm saying powder coat it so that that goes into the lambs and grooves. And the ceramic can be hard. And I don't know. I just think the weight would be the only issue with ceramic, unless you can mimic it with some lead or something.
Depending on how well it's going to take the shock of being, like ignited or what have you, exploded upon. But I definitely think there's a possibility.
I mean,
Especially
you
with
could do
future
ceramic
materials.
with a pneumatic gun. You could launch a ceramic projectile. Just air.
Yeah, it would still have some type of G-force to it, but
Well, sure. I mean, whether we're using magnets, powder, or air, it's all going to have G-forces.
but I don't know. I think it's pretty obvious that I don't work for Hornady or Corbond or whatever. 'Cause
Or Skunk Works.
I'm not necessarily in the projectile/bullet development field.
Well, before I retired from Skunk Works, I distinctly remember a program.
Okay.
And for you youngins that don't know what Skunk Works is, shame on you.
They stink.
Not how it skunk works.
Oh. Now, see, what you're doing there, Mr. G. Webbs, is interesting. As far as bullets, I mean, okay, so we got some type of M&M made out of ceramics for a bullet. We got, what did you say, just straight up steel. What about something non-metal? Kind of like what, is there ever going to be like ice bullets?
Well, I think Mythbusters did an ice bullet thing, and that definitely shattered upon firing. They did do some frozen meat, which held up a little bit better. It did have some more weight retention.
Yeah, and that kind of goes.
I don't see the benefit of.
Well, and plus it requires it to be cold or whatever. So.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
to a lesser extent,
the benefits of ice bullets is ballistics. Post-mortem.
Ceramic bullet is going to have those same issues, just not as much.
Right, but what you said something interesting. It has, ballistics post-mortem or whatever. For what? Like for hunting, so you don't want lead to get in your meat or something? Is that what you're thinking?
Yep.
About salt.
Well, I'm not saying it's practical in any way, shape, or form, because unless you live in a cold area, it's going to require energy to create them, right? So now, is it that it costs or it takes more energy to create that than it does to create the ceramic bullet or the magnet bullet like G's talking? It probably does over time, because you have to maintain the cold in order to maintain the projectile.
Well, what
Yeah,
if you
that would
have
just
like
be a
CO2?
pain transporting it and stuff. You got to keep it in coolers and all. It's like,
Well, but
Yeah.
what if you created it on the spot with some sort of like little tank, like a CO2 tank? You know, those little tiny ones that go in a BB gun. You have something like that with some kind of something that creates it. You know, it's in one state under compression or something. The phase change gives you the energy you're talking about. You store your energy, you know, in the production of that unit.
Well, then you could do like liquid nitrogen or something like that.
Or, I don't know. But yeah, some sort of you carry something like just water, you spit in there, it freezes it, and then that works. What about rocks or something? It's not plentiful.
Well, why don't we just go back?
Got to be smoothed or whatever. You know what I mean? It has to be the right shape.
Just make it a. Oh, what were the hell those things called? They were the early shotguns they used on board ships.
blunderbuss.
Yes, blunderbuss. It's like going backwards in technology. It worked.
I don't know if we're going to solve bullet tech. We getting any comments from you, gun channel side? No, just Pink's frozen nitrogen pellets.
One did said something about the ice bullet. One did say rock salt. One said copper, and then one said lead still works.
I do like the salt idea because going back to the hunting thing. Because what if you just put a little bit of garlic also and like a couple other little herbs and spices? Because then you just shoot the thing and then it's already ready to eat.
I'm marinating. That's all I'm doing. I'm putting a dry rub on the inside.
Yeah, some like
Actually, we might have to talk about this later, Smeg. So we might have a little hunting weekend seasonings package.
it certainly would be easy to do in like a shotgun load, like a buckshot sized pellet type thing.
Pretty sure
Just
they already
go
have.
for super wide spray.
You guys are kidding, but I'm pretty sure they already have that.
Who said I'm kidding? I don't think Smegs is kidding.
I remember seeing that when I was a kid. We thought it was funny, but for shooting little birds, because you're gonna leave all that shit in there on a little bird anyway. So it's like
Nice.
salt or something.
Really? That is pretty cool.
Do a quick Google search, see if I can find it. Yeah, season
So,
shot.
Yeah.
Ammo with flavor. It's called season shot.
Damn it. Spoiled again, Smeggy.
Well, that's all right. It's just called parallel thinking. We can still make it up. They might not necessarily have a patent on it.
We'll come up with a cooler name.
Well, obviously, and we'll make ours for big game because that's the important
Right,
part.
you know, because that's how we do, you know.
So it says it's made of tightly packaged seasoning bound by a fully biodegradable food product. So little pellets of seasoning. It's actually injected into the bird on impact, seasoning the meat from the inside out. When the bird is cooked, the pellets melt into the meat, spreading the flavor throughout the entire bird. Why worry about shot breaking your teeth and start wondering about what flavor steel shot to use? So they don't really get you, I guess, more info than that. But
I am intrigued, though.
Yep. That's
And I mean, as far as bullet technology, when we gonna, and it's not a bullet at all, but when we gonna start doing lasers? When do the sharks get their lasers? That's what I want to know.
I got a laser that can light cigarettes. So I imagine it could kill stuff. We killed bugs with it.
Yeah, and the military's got one that like shoots down missiles and stuff, doesn't they? Doesn't they? Wow, I'm good at English.
They do.
Don't they?
All right. What about a bullet with a camera in it? That's a good question.
As long as it doesn't have my name on it. Because isn't that what's coming
Pretty
next?
Cool, and you know, camera technology has come along a long way. I mean, they got little tiny cameras for all sorts of stuff now.
So Tony's putting this out. Bullet tech has reached the pinnacle already. Now you're going backwards. Agree? Disagree?
I disagree. I think there's always room for improvement.
Nobody knew what was coming until it was after it was here, and then everybody's like, "Oh yeah, obviously that was coming." But yeah, we don't know what's coming.
I don't know. We've been able to take 30-year-old munitions and turn them into JDAMs, right? Isn't that what they did basically for Gulf War or back in '91? Isn't that when we started doing this AK, also known as smart bombs and stuff?
Yeah. You took
So-
gun bombs, you put a guiding device on the nose, with adjustable thing.
So what I'm getting at is, when do we get the gyro jets Mark II, Mark IV, Mark VI? When do we get those? That's not really a bullet; it's a rocket. But with all the advances in technology, how come nobody's decided to look back at that? I mean, is it because it has to go so many feet before it really, expends its energy? Is it just that concept is not going to work, no matter what they try and do for the improvement of the? I mean, of course, the projectiles are going to be very expensive.
Well, I mean, if the effect does not dramatically supersede what's already currently available for a mere fraction of the price, it has to justify itself somehow, either through performance or through price. And I think through lack of performance and through excessive price, that's where it failed on 2 counts.
Well, maybe we should combine these ideas here. When are we going to get guided bullets?
That's what I'm saying. Somebody was talking about that before, and there's almost like there is. They're just not to the public yet. They haven't been developed far enough or something.
That would have to be something that you made so small that had its own propellant to, initiate changes in its path. That's asking a lot out of a little tiny bullet.
Well, couldn't it just have little fins that moved in and out?
No, if you look at the thing, well, I'm going to say no, because if you look at the X-Wrap, the taser that's in the size of a 12-gauge shotgun shell, basically it's the size of like a 3-inch Magnum or something, and the whole thing shoots out, and that thing is as compact as I would imagine we can get wires and moving pieces. And if you've looked at it, it looks like a little missile. It has little wings that flop out like you're saying and everything, and it can't. All it does is fly where you point it. It can't change direction or anything. So now you'd be removing the taser part and putting in a bunch of stuff that changes direction. All of that would have to somehow be the useful component when it gets there, unless they're just going to provide mass, and somehow the mass of that little unit is going to deliver the energy. So you'd have to put a little payload in there, I guess, to offset the lack of mass.
Yeah, like a little steel insert or something.
No, you guys were talking about that on the early watch back when, in between Dano dropping all of our secrets, they had time to talk about those Rufus rounds. So you're talking about 50 BMG that has a little bit of explosive in it that basically gives it the same stopping power as a 20 millimeter. So what about doing that? Taking your puny little wimpy 9 millimeters, drilling out the hole, and then putting some kind of something in there that makes it equivalent to a bigger gun, real gun, 44 Magnum or something. That's a new kind of bullet. Maybe not just changing the material, but changing its complexity.
It's really not. I'm just thinking conceptually, it's not that different than a military incendiary round that's fired out of a rifle.
Really, I mean, it's like an incendiary. Just they replaced it with explosive instead of
right.
Yeah, and it ignites from impact as opposed to like a hole in the back.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, some incendiaries I think are ignited, I guess, by impact, not by distance traveled always.
Right.
What if we just went to tracers? All tracers all the time.
Well, because then they'd always know where you were all the time.
Shootouts at gas stations would be way more interesting.
That's what I was thinking. There's going to be a lot more collateral damage, but that might not be what they're necessarily worried about. Wow, somebody said wire-guided bullet like tow. That's something. That's something. And Robbie's out there with the compressed recycled paper and flowered seeds, so you paint pretty pictures when you shoot. Actually, they do have.
That exists.
I think it's clay ammo, or ammo for shooting clays that does throw some seed out.
Yep. And they make it just plain seed for like shooting up onto hillsides where you can't necessarily climb up there easily. So you just shoot it.
Oh,
up
really?
there.
Just let it rip?
Although I think a blunderbuss would be more fun. Blunderbuss and a handful of seeds, or a couple of packets of seeds.
I mean, a reproduction blunderbuss, I think, is probably one of the most utilitarian type firearms that there are.
Oh, snap. You know what? I think we just came around to another development in bullets. We can grow all kinds of crazy stuff with the GMOs and the whatever. What about they just make some kind of seed pod that's ultra hard or dense or whatever, and then we develop it as a grown thing, and you just harvest it at the right time, or you put it into some sort of a chamber so that it grows to a spec. You ever seen like a tomato grown inside of a glass or something where it'll just grow to the shape?
Yep.
So
Hydroponic hydroshocks.
oh man, exactly. Hydro shocks is because of the way they're grown, not necessarily the way they work.
I know they're doing some stuff with like some mushroom roots or whatever, where they make like boxes and stuff that are the exact shape to go around like the TV or whatever. And that's exactly what they do. They put down a little bit of like cardboard media type stuff, and then they grow these mushrooms, and the roots fill in all the things, and then they just like cut the top part off and ship it out.
Mushrooms aren't plants; they don't have roots. But I want what you're saying. But FYI, that's the mushroom, the little flowering cap. It's just its flower. But that's pretty cool. Mushrooms are awesome. They're going to save us.
Well, isn't that what?
Only if we don't kill them all first.
I know they're not plants, right? But they
Correct.
definitely have little spidery things that go into the ground.
No,
It is
that's
fungus.
the mushroom, is what I'm saying. The
Fungus.
flowering
Fungus.
cap that we see is just its flower.
Right.
Okay.
But
Unless you eat the wrong one, and then it will kill you.
Only a few mushrooms will kill you. Very few in this country.
That's because most of them are fun guy.
All right. Well, now we're definitely taking it in a direction, but I think that bio weaponry, we know that's coming. Monsanto with all that corporation power.
yeah, you just breed a coconut with a Roma tomato or something, so then you have like a little tiny coconut. That'd be hard enough.
With some sort of a ghost pepper or something at the tip.
Yeah, there you go. We're gonna get on this.
Just the tip.
There's some nuts though that are super hard, right? That they use them as currency, I think, or something, because they're like hard as rocks, and because they're grown.
Like a kukui nut. There's one out here.
Okay. So yeah, I would imagine it's possible to take some and what do we care about splicing plants? We don't even think twice about re-engineered plants for the most part, especially when they're not edible.
That it would be truly the definition of a GMO, right? And in your gluten-free existence, there can be no space, no quarter given to genetically modified organisms
Got nothing
such
to do with
as
it. GMOs aren't gluten.
it's
He was just trying to mean my lifestyle by using that
yes,
as a phrase term.
yes, that's exactly what I.
Since when do we define a lifestyle by what you eat? I'm sure you're much more about than just what you eat.
Anyway, so I'm thinking though that bioweaponry is coming.
Could be a thing. The only problem though is you got to have the space and time, right? The time, because nothing grows. I mean, some stuff grows overnight, but how much could nothing's going to grow to A to B overnight, really, right? So it's going to be one of those things where you might be able to grow thousands of rounds, hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of rounds. The only problem is, you can't, like I said, you can't grow it overnight usually. I guess unless we get really good at stuff. And then that's how we'll develop the organism that takes over the planet. We were just trying to grow bullets, man. I don't know what happened. Learned how to throw them at us, I guess.
That's when
Feed me, Seymour, or else I'll
Yeah.
shoot you.
that's when the plants become self-aware.
Yeah.
But if we can make that coincide with the robots or with the computers becoming self-aware, then we'll have a three-way battle for the planet.
Let's not get into the three-way thing.
All right. So with that, I think we've solved gun tech. That you're welcome. Since there's no super chat for you to throw money, you can check out our Patreon. I'll throw a link over there. So we do appreciate everybody that's supporting the show. That's what's keeping the patch of the days going out, and the Instagram, or I mean the podcast being hosted. So we do appreciate that from everybody. I'm throwing the link out there. It's the beginning of the month, so I think we might have some random patches to give out since we couldn't do that on Friday.
But before you go any further, because I need to jump out here in a minute, I do want to ask again, if you're listening to this now or in the future, if you are not subscribed, please try to subscribe. We're sitting here at 294, trying to get over 300. I would be so grateful if you would subscribe to us. I almost don't know what to say. So please take 30 seconds and give us a shot. We appreciate it.
All right, we've got 8 people who are in the running for our random patch. So I'll bring up the random.org, and I'll also bring up the picture so that whoever's, if they're listening, they can watch and pick. In the meantime, why don't we hit one of the other topics of the day?
That sounds great. What did you? Let's see.
Let's go with movie.
Always a great topic.
What have we got in there for that?
Never heard of it. It's called Bomb Girls. I think it's a TV show, but I'm not sure.
Nobody else has seen this one?
Nope.
I've never heard of it.
All right, it's on Netflix, I think, and I don't know if it might even be a Netflix original. So if you guys haven't seen it, it's not so much about guns as about bombs. So if you imagine World War II, Rosie the Riveter poster, it's like the Canadian Rosie the Riveters going to work in this factory during World War II. So kind of neat. There's a little bit, it's mostly a drama, I guess, but it's neat if you like things that are, what do they call that when they have the scenes and the costumes and everything are like of the time. So it's neat to see the 50s, you know, accurately portrayed, I think, or at least.
Technically, that would be the 40s. I mean, if it's during World War II, but.
Yeah, 40s, I guess. And then they're pretty much the same as the United States. So it's basically what we're familiar with as far as like, you know, the diners and the cars and that kind of thing. And then a little bit of Nazi spy killing action. And then there's a couple of guns, actually. Wait, no, I think I was confusing that a little bit with Man in the Castle. So this one.
Definitely guns in Man in the High Castle.
Guns. I was thinking about when they manufacture the revolvers, but that's in Man in the Castle, right? They're building revolvers for the Japanese in that one.
I believe they are.
But this one isn't that. But anyway, it's similar to that part of that show. But anyway, it's okay. And I think it's one season only, so it must not have been that great. But if you are interested in World War II stuff, or like I say, there's a couple of guns in it. It would be 40s era guns, I guess. But very few, mostly about the bombs. But there's definitely a lot of bombs. They're in a bomb factory, and it's used as the scenery a lot of times. So anyway, that's the movie. I thought it was pretty good. It's really a TV show, I guess. But you can binge watch it and see a whole bunch of them.
Well, it sounds interesting. Almost sounds like the old Kurt Russell movie Swing Shift. I think that was him and Goldie Hawn in that one.
Yeah, I can't remember watching that one, though. It was a long time ago.
Very similar premise. I mean, in that you know, it's the ladies working in the convert factory and everything like that.
But that was like from the 80s. This is like last year or something. So it's big production value. It's pretty decent. It's like
oh yeah, no, I have heard of it. I just had never had a chance to watch it. But you're saying I should if I have the opportunity.
I'm gonna give it a thumb up. Just one thumb up.
All right.
Not so great that everybody has to drop everything and go watch it, but if it's like something that somebody else wants to watch, yeah, go ahead and watch it. It ain't that bad. It's mostly drama, I guess. A little bit of mystery. All right, so 2, 4, 6, 8. It's 8 of us, 8 of y'all who are, oh, I don't have a screen sharing, that are in the run-ins. And where did I put it? This will be the patch panel. That we've got. This is the show's special patch panel for y'all that are contributing to the Patreon. So this is different patches than what's available on the DPG or whatever we're calling the tactical pop quiz. So I will ask, I guess, one of you two to say top or bottom, then we'll count from the top or the bottom.
Top.
And neither one of you have seen the list, so you don't know if you're giving yourself an advantage. Plus, you don't know what the number is because you're both on the list. That's the thing. All right,
Okay.
So drum roll. I guess Maggie isn't ready.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, it's not like I gave you all the time world showing up this 8 or whatever. But is it happening, or should I just click the button?
Yeah.
'Cause I'm thinking, we did have a windbreaker chat on April 1st. A lot of people thought that was a joke, but it was a joke. But we also did some valid windbreaker analysis. A couple of people.
Yes, we did. And
Dang it.
And Smeggy found the new windbreaker.
Yes.
Did you?
I had a windbreaker that had been hanging up on my front door for at least 3 years. I have no idea whose it is, but it's been living at my house. So, yes, I do own a windbreaker.
So one of the reasons I wanted to do that is to play around with April Fools, but then also to explain the windbreaker phenomenon. I know a lot of people might listen to the show and go, what are they fixated on the windbreaker for? And it was completely explained in depth and in that special windbreaker edition. So you can go watch that over on Gun Website's YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's a good chat.
So are we ready to...
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm about to hit the button as soon as this happens. I thought you were going to do a thing.
Oh, I don't know. I was waiting for the thing to pop up.
I thought I'd do it when you make that noise at the end.
Oh, okay.
Number 4.
That was a horrible roll.
And I totally forgot if you said from the top, right? 1,
Yes.
From
2,
the top.
3, 4. All right. So Bill, I believe it would be Bill. Is he out there right now?
I don't see him at the moment, but
No, I don't either. Can't see who's on YouTube. That's another thing that's lame about YouTube. You just only can see people when they chime in, right? So
right, there's no, yeah.
not like this where we can see who's chatting. So I'll just send him in a message, but he's going to be able to pick one of
He's gonna be
the
stoked.
patches off of here. We're going to add some new ones. I was selling a little bit this weekend, so we'll throw a couple of new ones in there. He'll have grabbed one of them, so one might be missing. And if you'd like to participate in what we're talking about here, if you head over to our Patreon page, which is Patreon/Daily Gun Show. It explains what we're doing here. And if you go down the side here, it'll tell you that for contributing $1 a month, you'll have access to all the stuff we do on Patreon, and we thank you for that. At the $3 level, you're in the running for that random patch of the month, like we just did right now. And for about every 10 people, we'll go ahead and add another patch to that. So soon we'll be up to 10, and then so anything after that, we'll start doing 2 patches. So we appreciate everybody that's contributing at that level. Then at the $20 a month, you'll just grab a patch every month. There'd be no random part about it. And again, these are ways that you can help pay for the shipping. We send out a patch every single day. We have the podcasting takes a little bit of hosting money, and we plan on doing some upgrades, mainly to some audio things, and then getting it to the next level, professional or production wise, I guess. Anything beyond that, then that'll allow us to take the show and grow a little bit, allow us to spend more time on it. And again, that's we do want to see our efforts accumulate into something. So we do appreciate everybody that supports us over there. I'm not sure what you're spending every year or month on entertainment. We're here every single day. Got 4 or 5 grown men spending an hour plus, maybe an hour and 90 minutes every single day with the microphones on, however much time it takes us behind the scenes. So we're really just saying, to acknowledge that, and we appreciate it, the people that do. All right, so I can close that window, and that'll take us to the gun of the day. Bob's not here. That's his gun. Does anybody know about that gun?
SAR-48? I have no idea. But
I just made it. No, I'm going to move it to this gun, which I have a video for.
oh, well, all right then. Oh, nice. Is that the one? Oh, nice. I want one of these.
We don't even know what a SAR-48 is, so instead.
No, I meant yours. Sorry.
We're going to go to the visit.
You're not screen sharing. If that's what you were about to ask.
Nope, I am now.
Now you are.
So we're talking about a Bauer, which is a 25 ACP stainless steel version of the Browning, baby Browning, the best pocket Browning, one of the best guns ever made. So one day back in 1903 or something, Browning said the world needs a 25 ACP cartridge. So he invented it. And then he said, now it needs a gun to shoot it out of. And then he invented the baby Browning. And that was basically this little gun here, except made out of metal. Later on, this guy, I guess, Bauer decided we should make that gun out of stainless steel. He went over and asked if it was cool. They licensed it to him, so he didn't just do it. He did it officially. And then he turned it into this little tiny cool 25 ACP. Here I am at the range, kind of giving you an idea what its sights look like. I'm probably about 300 yards right here, shooting at a half-man size silhouette, and it's pretty accurate. I think I'm shooting at that top one. I don't know, I guess I'm shooting at the bottom.
No, you're shooting to break the pelvis.
Telescope that sight right out. So you can see the sights are a little bit goofy on it, but normally you don't. Look at this, even when the sights or the target's off like that, I can still hit pretty good. So anyway, this is more of a point and shoot, but if you needed to aim, like let's say you were doing one of those drills like are popular on Instagram right now with your good friends, then you'd use those sights. Here, I'm gonna shoot at that little white box right there.
You know, I liked when you do these little videos where the camera's like doing the aiming and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say I've just recently watched all of your PMR 30 videos for some unrelated reason, and I really like when you put the camera up like that so you can see down the sights. It's a cool experience.
It's like when you own it, you won't even need to shoot it. You'll be like, I feel like I've already shot this gun. I feel like I know how well this gun can shoot.
Exactly.
So anyway, that's the Bauer. It's I don't know why I did a shooting video.
What's it like getting those meat hooks in the trigger guard?
I don't know. It looks more awkward than it actually is. Like I said, I don't know why I do these videos. They're stupid. But the gun is neat. It's just super solid. It's super precise. You can just see by the back there, just the tolerances and everything. It's just all even and symmetrical, and it's well made. The guy took pride in making it, and it's surprisingly easy to hold on to. It's so wide. See how thick those grip panels are? That gives it some, it just gives you something to hold on to. And it's only 25 ACP, so it hardly ticks, and it still functions and operates and everything. I suppose that aids something to its ergonomics or its like controllability. It doesn't dwell, like it doesn't take forever for the cycle to happen. So it's just a really neat little gun. If you can get one cheap, highly recommend it. Or if you're just collecting or whatever, I'd say it's worth getting. Not something I'd recommend for defense or practical use or anything. It's just sort of a fun gun. Kind of a neat place. It's a representation of a neat place in history. There's better guns. I'd get a Beretta in 25 ACP with the flip-up barrel.
Really?
It's a more modern version of this. If you actually were going to carry, yeah, because if you're going to carry something that little, it's probably because you're crippled or something, and then you might as well.
Or you're wearing surf trunks. I mean,
you would not carry that anywhere near water. No. I hope not.
What am I supposed to carry? Will you say near water? I live near water, like all the time,
Well,
like 24 hours a day.
Plastic, not a metal gun. I wouldn't carry metal. Plus, it's heavy. It'd be like carrying around a piece of metal. Why would you do that?
Well, never mind. There's a joke there, but I'm gonna leave it alone. Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
I think I'm picking up what you're putting down, Z.
Yeah, it's not ideal for beach carry, is what you're saying, I guess.
No. Plus, why would you need a gun in a beach? Crazy.
For the zombie sharks, dude.
Well, I was thinking.
What are you, new?
I was thinking the rabid seagulls.
Oh.
We don't have those here. That's something that only you guys have. Is the rabid seagulls.
I don't have seagulls.
Like no seagull has ever landed on a boat and then been like, oh damn, I was sleeping. Like now I'm way too far from shore. I'll just hang out on this boat until I get where it's going. And then they're like, oh, here's some island. I'm gonna fly around.
Except for the epic, the rhyme of the ancient mariner, man. Geez, you think you'd read a book or listened to some Iron Maiden growing up to know that you don't mess with the albatross, which is one of the largest seagulls there is.
I don't understand what any of that means. So you're saying
Oh.
there's a bigger seagull that'll eat them or something?
I'm saying that it goes way back for bad things to do, like superstitions type of things. And killing an albatross while you're on a boat is a bad call. And there's a epic poem, I think it's a poem, which is Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, and then also Iron Maiden then later came along and did a song about it.
I think I'm missing something. But anyway, you're
saying don't shoot them.
You're saying there's
saying.
no seagulls in Hawaii, though.
Yeah, I'm saying there's no seagulls in Hawaii other than the albatross.
Well, I'm gonna bring a seagull with me when I come to visit.
They won't let you they won't let you off the plane actually, and then they will actually probably kill the seagull.
But you just said that it's against
Exactly.
When you're on a boat. If he brings one on a plane too here, yeah, that's a dead seagull.
I'm taking a boat. Anyways,
then they'll just kill the bird when you get here, as opposed to on the boat.
You have some weird and terrible customs in Hawaii.
yeah.
Don't bring bananas on a boat either. Bad mojo.
It's fascinating. You'll never know what you're going to learn on Daily Gun Show, but you're learning it. You're learning it. Can't deny that it's been learned.
Well, I guess I have to cancel my boat trip. That was going to be a case of bananas and a pack of seagulls.
You mean a flock of seagulls? And then you ran? You ran so far away?
If you have that CD, they snap it. That's when you got it.
You play it on the radio, they just burn the radio station down.
Yeah.
All right, so we talk about the winners to the pop quizzes and stuff. That we've got a bunch of people who are accumulating some pretty big scores there, some pretty big win numbers, even after submitting questions. So basically, sitting out a lot. They're still racking up some big numbers. Sean up at 34, Angry at 32, and Matt at 28. A lot of people, though, are still winning for the first time. We got people who just got their 10th win. Person got their 8th. Then we got a bunch of them with 4 and 5. So there's a lot of repeat winners, but there's still lots and lots of people winning for the first time. So we do appreciate everybody that watches live. And again, to the Patreon supporters that are making this possible. So as that grows, your support will continue to let the show grow. So we do appreciate it. I think I mentioned also that Battle Patches is a person that's, or company, I guess, that's making patches in California. Or are they in Phoenix? Dang it, I forget now. Anyway, they had some issues over the weekend, so they put their patches, everything in their store at 50% off with the coupon codes. You can grab that on Instagram. And they got some pretty cool gun type designs, and 50% off is a pretty good deal. So consider that. It's helping them out with their big, unexpected bills. And we did get a couple of extras for the patch panel, so stay tuned for those. I forgot I was going to take a picture of the patch panel, but didn't do it during the show here. So whoever won today, if you want to wait a bit, then there'll be a new picture up there shortly. Anything else before we finish up or wrap up episode 281?
Just wanted to say thanks to everybody that did participate in yesterday's Every Second Matters.
Yeah, it was a pretty good show.
Yeah, I had a chance to listen to it a little bit later in the day, and I thought it was pretty cool. You guys did a fantastic job, and Smag, thanks truly for all the extra hard work as well.
Oh no, yeah, no problem, man. We're all in this together, and that's something that I've found to enjoy doing is building that site and making it useful. I hope more so even that other people are using it and getting good information, and hopefully that can help all of us keep track of this stuff a little bit better.
Excellent.
Feedback there.
Well, it was so nice. I had to say it twice.
All right. Well, I think that'll wrap up episode 281. With that, we'll be back tomorrow talking about guns in the home, talking about fixing a light to a gun. That's a good idea, but not. We'll have night strike on, talk about South Carolina laws, and then potentially, since Bob is in Tulsa, Oklahoma, hanging out an extra day while the museum is closed on Monday. Hopefully, he'll be at the museum tomorrow for the show, and that'll be an interesting reversal because last year at this time, Bob was hosting the show from the computer, and I was walking around the show, the gun show, in the museum. So it'll be the opposite. I'll be sitting here, and Bob will be walking around the museum. So he did a pretty awesome job at the Browning Museum, if everybody remembers. So he's got a lot to live up to, but he's capable of doing it and competent. So appropriate pause. We'll stay tuned for that tomorrow.
So does that bring us to the quote of the day? Did we already do gun channels tonight?
We did not do gun channels tonight. I've already got a link from Matt, so he's doing probably a show because of that show y'all watch about the things ended, I think.
So the season finale was yesterday.
So we probably have a bunch of nerd chatter about that, and then isn't there something like top something of somethings?
Something about cartoons from the 80s?
Oh yeah, cartoons from the 80s. So, well, actually that'll be better because I was going to say last week he said cartoons of the 80s, then y'all proceeded to spend about 2 hours talking about cartoons from the 90s, which are all lame. So I wasn't all that excited, but then you're right, it's about the 80s, so it actually might be
Yes, sir.
Hey, cartoons in the 90s were all right. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joes, Transformers.
Those are all
And
from
those
the
might have
80s.
been, were those late 80s into the early 90s?
Some of them were, yes.
It's going to be like
either way.
Smurfs and Snorkels and
Oh, I never watched Smurfs.
Bears. That's what's going to win. Anyway, that'll be interesting. Matt's always nerding out on that stuff. We got the Locked and Loaded.
Yep.
Also coming in from a different island of Hawaii. Is that the island of Hawaii that he's on?
That is the actual island of Hawaii. You are correct.
So that's a larger island. And then he's always got an interesting show. And then we've got, I don't know if We Like Shooting is still posting theirs here or not, but they do their shows tonight. And then we'll see, I guess, early watches Monday, Wednesday, Fridays for the moment. But a lot of times Sean has been doing the Good Morning Gun channels. GMG, launching the show, launching a lobby in his office there at work. So that's pretty awesome. So anybody's able and welcome to post a lobby anytime you want. If you've got some time during your day or your week that you'd like to have a conversation with people about guns, feel free to host the conversation. Plenty of people at Gun Channels 24/7, literally, that can help you figure out how to post it. Once you've posted it once or twice, you've got the routine down. It's easy to figure out. And then anytime you want, you can create a lobby or create a room like this on YouTube or Google and post it over there. And I'm sure you'll find that people will come in and start talking to you. So if you want to do that on a specific topic or subject, feel free. If you want to just leave it an open room, you can do that as well. So check out, whenever those might happen. Sometimes in the evenings, those will happen. And I'm sure Pink will have his lobby open tonight.
And on that note, just real quick, I want to encourage people that definitely, do that if you want. I've seen people say like, oh my God, they're talking about blah, blah, blah again or whatever. You know what? Start up your own show and talk to your buddies about what you want to talk about. We have no problem hosting stuff or like you were saying, posting it or whatever. And, there's no rule that says there can't be more than one show at a time. I mean, there's plenty of room for everyone. So
yeah, we've got this like multiple football field area. Everybody's sitting around one campfire. Like, feel free to spread out, do what you want, invite your own friends to have a chat over somewhere, create a channel. We'll give you a chat room for it. And, do something on the regular, do something when you can, when whenever you got a couple of free minutes, do it on a regular schedule, however you want to do it. Everybody's welcome. All right.
It's one of the things that makes this place great. And does that bring us to the quote of the day?
yeah.
All right. I guess I'll roll on that. Looks like thanks goes out to everybody who has participated and listened, and anybody that's going to participate and listen in the future. Thank you very much. Please like, share, and subscribe. Daily Gun Show on YouTube. I think we're also on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and all that kind of good stuff. So the quote today was submitted by our good friend on Gun Channel's Cycle Camp, and it's a quote by Mark Twain. Keep away from people who belittle your ambitions. Small people always do that, but the really great make you feel that you too can become great, which is pretty awesome. So again, thank you everybody. Be safe out there, and aloha.
The guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching gunwebsites.com.